did you study anything that helped you with concrete? Did you do, what did you study in college?
So I did my bachelor's degree is in mechanical engineering. So I mean the engineering degree helps definitely. Having said that, I mean I was not a civil engineer, but there were, I think, some basic fundamentals that thankfully in my case I was taught by those subjects at least were handled by reasonably good profs. So those fundamentals kind of stay with you, and it helps. But I mean, obviously, if I had done civil engineering or something, it may have been more directly sort of applicable. But yeah, but even in my mechanical engineering program, the subjects that I found interesting were stuff to do with strength of materials, with statics, and also material science itself. Even though at the time I found material science a little dry, and I absolutely love it now. I mean, it's a subject that really interests me.
And it's directly applicable to your work.
It is, except that I did not. It kind of went into cold storage. So I learned all of this, and then I did an MBA, and so all of this kind of went into cold storage. Thankfully, it did not evaporate. But yeah, it was it was sitting in cold storage somewhere, and then after I did my MBA, and then I worked at a corporate job for a while, and then when I came back to this, I was able to kind of at least pick up from memory at least, and also kind of jog it by reading a little and doing a little bit of a recap. I was able to kind of get it to help.
Yeah. And speaking about the corporate job, that was at ITC, doing something completely unrelated to what you're doing today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's not, I mean, I know this is called, the series is called, How It All Comes Together. And that kind of suggests that there is some sort of grand plan. Except that in my case, I mean, honestly, at that stage in life, I did not have this plan or vision of doing what I'm doing right now. At that stage, I was not sure what I wanted to do. I mean, I enjoyed the job in ITC. It was very challenging. It was very new, and it was very exciting. I was selling cigarettes in Gujarat, so it was really interesting. It took me all over the state. It took me to places I would otherwise never have been to. It brought me in contact with people I would otherwise never have met.
But that's a great deal of exposure to have too.
It is an amazing exposure to have. I mean, if I would honestly say that it's a great experience for anyone, honestly, irrespective of what you end up doing in life. When you work where you come across people like that, you literally. I mean, I've literally gone on a cycle, actually carrying cigarettes at the back,
Wow.
with bags on either side, selling cigarettes. I mean, that's part of your training. So I mean, the first week when you join when you land up at your branch, the first week you have to live the life of a salesman to understand what he goes through, and I think that's brilliant because there are lots of little things that no one ever forgets that stint. No one who's ever worked in ITC will forget that stint. So you come across people who are having small shops, small businesses, and you see what they go through. It's a lovely experience.
And if you spent a lot of time in Gujarat, you must have spent a lot of time in Ahmedabad with some of the most wonderful architecture in the country.
Yeah. So our office was just on the banks of the Sabarmati. So I've been to that beautiful Sabarmati ashram and the museum there, which is, I think, by Charles Correa.
Oh wow. Okay.
And the second year I was there, I was staying actually near IIM. I mean, not too far away from the IIM building. And honestly, Ahmedabad is full of beautiful, beautiful buildings. And you have buildings across eras. I mean, you have buildings from the Mughal era. You have some buildings even before the Mughal era. And then you've got some colonial buildings, and then you've got some beautiful Art Deco buildings, and then you've got some wonderful modern buildings as well. So really, I mean, it's a wonderful place to just roam around and stare at buildings. And, it's lovely. I absolutely enjoyed it.
And even probably at that time, since you weren't yet on the track bringing you to work with architects, seeing these buildings
Yeah.
must have, did that give you some sort of insight into what they
No,
might?
I mean, no. Honestly, at that stage, I was not even thinking about architects. It is just something as basic as when you see something that appeals to you and you just gawk at it. You're not necessarily thinking at that stage about the process, about how they did it, how they finished it, or what they thought when they designed it. All you're thinking of is, oh my God, that looks amazing. I want to keep staring at it. That's honestly all you're thinking.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, now if I was to go back, I would probably think and
Look at it
look at all
differently.
those details, which is a different kind of enjoyment. But honestly, it any well designed building takes your breath away for a second. You there is a moment of wonder. And actually, I mean, it's a bit like the Taj, right? Like I've been to see it 3 times, and I mean, the first time was obviously you're staggered by the beauty of the building, but the second time you know exactly what you are going to see, and yet when you see it, there is still that moment of awe. There is that moment of absolute wonder, and that never goes away with a beautiful building.
Yeah, totally.
Doesn't matter how many times you see it, you will always there's always that wow moment when you see it, when even if it's for the fourth or fifth or the 10th time.